Welcome back to another episode of the A&A Sports Podcast. My name's Alex, and as you can see, my brother is not with me today. Like I said in one of the previous podcasts, my brother was going to be looking to move soon, so that time's come. He's been, packing up a lot of his stuff. He's been pretty busy with work, so he has to like leave, and then he comes back, then he packs up his stuff, and then he leaves again. So it's been pretty hard for me to be able to get him on a podcast. Plus, our schedules just have not been mixing up pretty good. But I want to be able to do this by myself, at least for a little while, up until my brother gets situated. And then if he's here, then we'll obviously do a podcast together. But we also want to figure it out with Skype so that he can do the podcast from where he's at, and then I could do it from where I'm at. And main reason we haven't really recorded was because for whatever reason, every time we record, it just the file gets corrupted and we end up recording for nothing, and then we haven't been able to figure it out. So that's this is more of a test run, see if I could do it by myself until we get that situated. And then if it comes out good, I also want to get on this podcast with my brother, with my brother and then my cousin, to see if we can do a fantasy football podcast or do a couple of them. Because I know fantasy football drafts are right around the corner. I know I've already had a draft, and I think people would like it. But yeah, this podcast is going to be on Virgil Ortiz versus Egis Kovalevskis. That was on Saturday. And then it's going to be on Joshua Franco versus Andrew Maloney. But before I get into that, there was another fight, Guillermo Rigondeaux versus Casimiro, and I think we can all agree that we would all rather watch paint dry than watch one of Guillermo Rigondeaux's fights. And yes, I think Casimiro is on PEDs because he did not want that VADA testing, and that's why he didn't get the fight with Nonito Donaire. He didn't want the testing. I think he's on PEDs. So that takes care of that. And on Saturday, we had Virgil Ortiz taking on Egis Kovalevskis on DAZN. And let me tell you, this fight was action-packed. We got to see a lot of things that at least I wanted to see. I did want to see Virgil Ortiz get tested by a big puncher at 147. A lot of people were like, man, they were nervous as hell when he got clipped in that third or fourth round and his legs stiffened up on him. I was pretty calm because, like I said, I wanted to see him get tested because I don't want his first test against a big puncher to be against a guy like Terrence Crawford, Earl Spence. If everybody else is all right with that, that'd be fine. But me personally, I would rather have him tested against, a lesser guy until, so that we can see if he has, what it takes to compose himself and then get back to his fight and see if he can overcome adversity, right? And that's exactly what he did. He passed it with flying colors. Listen, Egis Kovalevskis, he hits like a truck. My brother helped him out when he was training with Robert here in Oxnard. And he told me that Egis Kovalevskis hits like a freaking truck. That's what he told me. He told me that he trains hard and he just has that ability to crack. And I think he's shown that. I mean, he hurt Terrence Crawford. It wasn't rolled a knockdown, but he definitely dropped him. And then he also, he was close to dropping Virgil Ortiz as well. He caught him with a really good punch. And I think Egis is just very sneaky. He's a sneaky guy. Like he'll use his jab and he'll slow the fight down a little bit, and then he'll come quick with a quick combination or a quick counter punch, and he kind of just catches you sleeping. I think that's the same way he caught Crawford. That was the same way he caught Virgil. And but Virgil showed a lot of things that I felt just makes me more confident that he can beat a guy like Terrence Crawford and Earl Spence, because he has a really great jab. In those first couple of rounds, he was able to slow the fight down, use his jab, and then not just his jab, but counter with his right hand. And you can see the boxing ability from Virgil Ortiz. He's not just a guy that comes forward, throws a lot of punches. He's able to slow the fight down when he needs to, And 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 I think that's something that you need against a guy like Terrence Crawford, because I think when you fight guys like that, guys that are really good boxers, you need to be able to mix it up a little bit. Like sometimes you need to be able to come forward, attack the body, things like that. But then you need to be able to slow the fight down, use your jab, and kind of throw the rhythm off so that it's not just one rhythm the same time, you know? And especially with guys like Terrence Crawford or Spence that are really good boxers, they'll be able to catch on to if you come at the same rhythm. You know, if you just come forward and try to walk them down and do things like that, they'll find a way to adapt to that. But if you're able to mix it up, I think that's something that'll really help Virgil. And he showed it in this fight. You know, in the first couple of rounds, used his jab, you know, kept his distance, used his reach, and then he used his counterpunching ability with that straight right hand as well. He did get clipped with that uppercut, but he composed himself, and as the fight unfolded, he was able to attack the body. Then once he started to take the wind out of Egis Velasquez's sails a little bit, then he just kept turning it up from there. And unfortunately, in that 8th round, I think Egis was just done. You know, I think he was just he felt it, and Virgil Ortiz did not let up, and he got him out of there, and which was a good thing to see. I'm really excited. I really hope Virgil Ortiz is able to get a shot with either Terrence Crawford or Earl Spence. Anybody at 147, any champion at 147, I really hope they give Virgil Ortiz a chance soon. You know, he's 23 years old. He's a young guy, man, and I really hope he's able to get, you know, to a title shot soon. And we'll see where he goes from there. You know, hopefully, you know, good luck as well to Egis Velasquez in his next, whatever's next for him. But yeah, you know, class act dude. He had some really good words for Virgil Ortiz. He told him that he was going to be a superstar. He said he had just a lot of good words and good words of encouragement for Virgil. So, hey, that's what we want to see sometimes. We want to see the sportsmanship. So, yeah, I think that'll take care of that one. And also on Saturday, we had Joshua Franco take on Andrew Maloney on ESPN for the WBO belt at 115 pounds. And what can we say about this one? I think Joshua Franco just showed that he was the better fighter. For the people that don't know, these guys had fought three times now. In the first fight, Joshua Franco was able to drop Maloney in the 9th round, and then cruise to a decision victory for the belt. And then in the second fight is where the bad blood came. It was they did not see eye to eye on what happened. Joshua Franco got a swollen eye in the first round, and then it was either from a headbutt or from a bunch of jabs that were landing on his eye. And since then, the two camps were jawing at each other. You know, unfortunately, that fight got ruled a no contest because it had to be stopped, I believe, in the 3rd round. And since the 4th round, the 4 rounds hadn't been completed, it was ruled a no contest. But in this 3rd fight, Joshua Franco just showed that he's just a better fighter than Andrew Maloney. And I felt that the entire time. I thought, yeah, Andrew Maloney starts fast, but then he dies down after the middle rounds, and then you're able to kind of, if you have the power, you're able to slow him down, and then you're able to as the fight unfolds, I felt Joshua Franco was able to show that he was a better fighter. And one thing that I really loved from Joshua Franco was that he was able to start quicker. From the first round, he was able to come at a good pace. Andrew Maloney was landing some good body shots as well, but it didn't seem to phase Joshua Franco. And that's something that worried me because he was getting hit to the body a lot, but it just seemed like he wasn't phased by it. And, you know, I was worried that he was going to get, run out of gas or something. But he just looked in really good shape. It looked like he was able to walk him down as the fight unfolded. He was just able to outbox Maloney. You know, he was able to just show that he was the better boxer. He was using his angles, using his jab, using his counter punches, landing the uppercuts, doing whatever Robert told him to do. He was doing it, and he just looked a lot more confident in this fight. And yeah, it's also been said that he is the mandatory now for either Chocolatito or Gallo Estrada. I really hope he gets a fight with one of those guys. I really can't wait for that one. Um, let's see. Yeah, and I found another picture here. I haven't been able to find really great pictures for whatever reason on Google. Just wasn't cooperating with me. And yeah, I mean, I think I could also go over the Yordenis Ugas versus Manny Pacquiao fight, I guess. I really don't know why Manny Pacquiao is still fighting Yordenis Ugas. I thought he was going to pull out as well once Errol Spence, once the Errol Spence fight fell through, because Errol Spence did have to pull out because of I believe a torn retina in one of his eyes. And for whatever reason, Manny Pacquiao is still choosing to fight Yordenis Ugas, which is, hey, I give it up to Manny Pacquiao. He's taking on guys I don't think he needs to fight. He already fought Keith Thurman. He was really gonna go after Errol Spence, and now he's gonna fight Yordenis Ugas. I thought he was gonna pull out. I just think it wasn't a fight he needed to take. Yordenis Ugas doesn't have a big name, and what does it really do for Manny Pacquiao at this point? So I thought he was gonna pull out, but hey, this fight's I guess it's gonna take place, and Manny Pacquiao's. I think he's gonna eat Yordenis Ugas for lunch, because I don't think Yordenis Ugas has anything for him. Unfortunately, I'm not saying Yordenis Ugas is a bad fighter, but I think Manny Pacquiao is a different level for sure. And yeah, that'll wrap this one up. I know it's a pretty short podcast, but it's more of a test run. I just want to see if I'm able to do this by myself. At least once I get somebody on here, like my cousin or my brother, it'll be a lot easier for me to kind of get back into the flow of things. This one's the first one I've done by myself. So hopefully we get that Skype situation sorted out. And hopefully we're able to do that fantasy football podcast, because I really hope, I'm really looking forward to those. And I know a lot of people have already had drafts, and I know some drafts are just around the corner. So I really want to get that going. So hopefully we're able to figure that out. And that should wrap it up for this one. Let me know how I did in the comments, and let me know if you guys are interested in that fantasy football podcast. And yeah, thank you guys for watching another episode of the ANA Sports Podcast. We'll talk to you guys next time.